everyone, welcome back to my craft room. If you're new to my craft room, then welcome. Today I'm going to do two of these cute little picture frames I found in the Crafter Square section at Dollar Tree. I think these were in the Crafter Square section, or were these by the picture frames? I don't know. I found them at Dollar Tree, that's all I can tell you. That's what these little numbers here, I know some people like to look these up online sometimes, so if you want to freeze that and get it. But I picked this pretty one up here with a heart. I thought these would be nice to make for Mother's Day, which is like so soon. But I mean, you can make these for any time. It doesn't have to just be for that. It has this, why is this being so difficult? It comes with this little dowel that goes back here to make it stand. So we're just going to set those aside for now, because we're going to put those in last. But it doesn't have any glass or anything, so it would just be your picture that you put in there, whatever you want. I don't have any pictures I'm going to use right now, so I'm just going to use the ones that are in here for now. But we're going to take those out. So these little things here just pop up, and you can take your picture out of here. Now you might want to sand these off a little bit around the edges of a piece of sandpaper or whatever, just to get those smoothed out a little bit. It really doesn't make any difference because we're going to be putting an image over the whole thing. So we're going to be using that one, and then I picked this one up too. I thought was really pretty. So this is the same thing here. It comes with the little dowel to put in the back when we're done. And we're going to pop this picture out here too. Same thing. It's got these little clips, you know, you just pop them up. Probably shouldn't use my fingernails because I'll probably end up chipping them, but whatever. So you just pop out your little picture. We'll set that up there. And these are kind of got to be in my way, so I'm going to move those back down out of my way. There we go. All right, and again, if you want to go around this with a little bit of sandpaper, this one fits in a little different. It has like a little groove in here where the picture sits on. So that's nice. This one, oh no, this one does too. Same thing. I thought it was different, but it's the same. So anyway, I'm not going to paint these. A lot of times I'll paint these to, you know, like a nice brighter color, but this is really light wood. So I think this is going to work out just fine. On this one, we're going to add the letters MOM for mom here. I'm going to paint those with this pretty Princess Purple. This is just, what is this? Apple Barrel Multi-Surface Satin Paint. That's a real pretty purple. And I'm going to be using this napkin here on this one to decoupage on. We're going to use the iron-on method to make it nice and smooth and flat, which is like the easiest way to do it. And then on this heart one here, I'm going to be using this napkin. Now this napkin I know came from Temu. This one I do believe this is on Amazon. I'm not sure. I have napkins from all over the place. Some people have given me different stores I find them in. But, you know, whatever pretty napkin you might have. So let me slide those up there. So what we're going to do first, I'm just going to do this one here. We'll do this small one here. Is we're just going to take some, I don't even have my Mod Podge ready. Gloss, you can use gloss, you can use matte, whatever you want. This is going to be on underneath. Let me dump some in my little container here. And we're just going to put a nice coat of Mod Podge all over the front of this frame. And you want to make sure you get it really good on the edges. So we'll do a nice thick coat of this. I just want to make sure all my edges get covered up nice. And we'll smooth that out. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with the other one. I'll do that one off camera because it's just repetitive stuff over and over and over. But I want to make sure I get these real good around this edge too of the heart, because we're going to sand that out of there. And we want it to stick real good on the edges. So I think that's pretty good there. Smooth this all out. And you could do 2 coats if you want. I used to always do 2, but then, you know what? It's not necessary to do 2. It really isn't. Unless your wood really soaks this stuff up. This isn't, so I think 1 coat of the Mod Podge will work just fine. Alright, so that's all you do. That's all I'm going to do on this guy here. And then I am just going to take my little Let me set this aside. My little numbers. Let me find my double-sided tape, because this is a great trick to do when you're working with like these little numbers and you want to paint them. All right, you sit there. So we're just going to put a couple strips of this. Maybe we'll do 3. Why not? Using a tape runner here, and then you're just going to stick your letters down on here. That way, while you're painting them, they're not going to move on you. So there we go. I think that's holding them pretty good. Now I'm just going to take, is this lid going to come off? No. Let me grab another little dish here to put some of this paint into. Hopefully this is good. Some of my paints, I really need some new ones because I picked up one the other day that was hard as a rock. There was no helping that one. All right, so I just need a small brush. I don't know where I got this brush from. It's a pretty brush. But I'm just going to give this probably 2 coats of this pretty purple. Try to get some of the edges too, so I don't want the edges to show. That's why taping them down like this is great, because you're not getting stuff all over your fingers. You can get up in all these little cracks and crevices here. And like I said, I'm just going to do the 1 coat here, then after it dries I will put another coat on. Oh, don't come loose now. This one's a little warped. This one doesn't want to stay down here. Alright, that's on the edges of that. Alright, there's 1 coat on there. I'll have to lift this up, make sure I got all my little sides done. But that's it. I'm just going to give this, like I said, 2 coats of this pretty purple. I thought it would match those pretty purple flowers nicely. And, yeah. That's a really pretty color, purple too. What did I say it was called? Princess purple. There we go. And that's that. So I'll set this aside and let that dry, and then I'll put on a 2nd coat of that. So let me go ahead and finish putting the Mod Podge on this one here. And then after that dries, we'll come back and show you what we're going to do. Alright, these things are all nice and dry now. They're ready to go. I got my letters done. I was waiting for these workers out here on the road that are making so much noise to move on, and I got carried away and finished doing my letters. But I'm going to show you what I did here. I painted those all that pretty purple, but I decided to put some white dots on it so it'll make it pop a little bit when we put them on here. And I'm just going to show you really quick how I did that. I took one of these embossing tools that they have at Dollar Tree. I used the smaller end here and just some white acrylic paint. And then I just dip it in there and then just make my little dots like that. It's real simple. Put as many or as few as you want to on here and just keep dotting away. So that's how I did these. And I had to paint another one here just so I could show you guys, because I don't know, I just got carried away. But yeah, that's all you do to make the little dots all the way around these little guys here. It's real simple. And these things are real simple to clean too, because you just wipe it off and you're done. Alright, so I am done with that, because let me get this out of the way. Alright, so now that I got paint on my finger, it's one of those days again. Alright, so those are drying over there. We're going to take our frame. I'm going to use this napkin on here. I just want to figure out exactly how I want it placed, because you're not going to see a lot of this because, you know, the whole center's cut out there. But I want to make sure I get some of these nice roses and things, you know, like on the corners and whatnot here. Let's see. Let's pull it up this way. I think that'll, well, maybe if I lower it down just a tad. No, yeah, because then those little flowers will be up there. I think that's good right there. So if I can remember. So, all right, so let's cut off some of this napkin out of my way. It'll just make it easier in the end here. Where are we at? Doesn't have to be I'm making a mess because I'm trying to do this sideways. All right, let's turn you around. Just so I don't have so much hanging off of here while I'm trying to work on it. All right, then you're going to take these apart down to the 1 ply of napkins. These are only 2 plies. And we're going to place it over our heart frame here. Position it where we want it. I really want that nice big rose right down here on this corner. So I think that'll be good right there. This one might be a little challenging since it has such an open spot in the center. We're going to find out. So you're going to take a piece of parchment paper and lay over top of your napkin. Yeah, this, I don't know. We're going to find out, huh? And then we're going to take an iron. I have this on like the cotton setting. I got this little iron on Amazon. You can use a regular iron. It's just, I like this little guy here. He's just so handy. And you're just going to go over your napkin. Make sure you get it on the edges real good. And this will, you know, make your Mod Podge under there kind of reactivate. I guess this isn't going to be too difficult. I thought maybe with that center being so empty, it was going to be harder to get this on here nicely. But I think it's going to be okay. Where's my little centerpiece? I like to just hold it there for a couple seconds just to make sure it heats it up real good. It's nice and hot. See how we're doing here. Let's take a peek. Oh, that looks good. Okay, so I'm just going to go around this, make sure I got my edges really good and everything, and just give it another zap here. I always want to make sure those edges are down good before I start, you know, sanding off the napkin. You don't want it to lift up on you. So we're just going to go over those edges again really easy. All right, so that should be good. Now we're going to set this aside so it can cool off. And we're going to grab our other frame here. I love this frame. This frame's so pretty. And then we're going to put this pretty purple one on here. Let me move my iron so I don't burn my arm. So let's see. This one I kind of want this nice big flower kind of up here because we're going to put the mom down here. So I think that'll be good like right there. I think so. Okay, again, I'm going to trim some of this excess off. This time I'm going to turn it so I'm not cutting like a klutz here. Yeah, I think that'll look really good right there. Yep. Okay, so let's get rid of some of this excess. Get that out of my way, and you can save that for something else if you want. And let's see, are you going to pop open easy for me here? I don't know where my tape is. You can take like a piece of Scotch tape, one on each side, to pull these apart easier. But of course, I think I may have taken it out to wrap something. Anyway, there we go. We got it. And then I like to keep those little extra pieces just to clean up messes with. All right, so that'll get placed right there. Oh, I think that'll look pretty. Yep, just like so. All right, same thing. We're just going to iron this on here and let it sit on there for a few seconds so it, you know, gets in there nice and hot. I'll tell you, this is like the easiest way. If you have a nice flat surface and you want to decoupage something on there, I mean, for no wrinkles or anything else you don't want, this is like the easiest way to do it. Oh, looking good. Like I said, you could paint these first if you want to. I'm just going to leave it with the natural wood under these. I think it's going to look pretty. I think I am going to use a little bit of distressing ink on the edges of these. Make sure I get it around that heart real good too. Alright, I think that should be good. Alright, so now to clean these up is really simple. I'm sure I'm going to do most of this off camera only because it's annoying sound. So I'm going to take the one here that's cooled off. I'm going to take one of these handy dandy, I almost chewed up, handy dandy nail files that I get at Dollar Tree. And then you are just going to go around your edges just like this. And then there you go. You have a perfect edge. And then we're just going to do that all the way around, inside the heart, everywhere on both of these, just like so. And pull off the excess napkin. There we go. But yeah, isn't that easy? And look how pretty that edge looks. Alright, so I'm just going to poke a hole in the middle here and cut some of this out of my way. And that way we can just sand that off too. Just that simple. Alright, so let me finish sanding off all these edges and then we'll come back and finish these up. Okay, look how pretty. Yay, I love this. Alright, now, so the edges aren't quite so white, and inside here, I'm going to take some of the Tim Holtz Distressing Ink and one of the little ink pads. You can get this stuff at Michael's. I think you get some of the, I don't know if Walmart, does Walmart carry this? I don't even know. I've always gotten it at Michael's. And I am just going to go around these edges real quick, just to kind of brown them up just a little bit. Just give it a little more of a vintage look. I love this vintage photo. This is my favorite color in Distressing Ink. It's just so easy to work with. You really can't make a mistake with this. I'm going to go around the inside of this heart here a little bit with it too. And if some of it's on the edges, that's fine. That's what you want. Just that little bit of distressed look to it. And then I like to go back over the corners and just give them a couple little dabs, because you know that's usually what distresses first on papers. I think that looks good. Maybe a little more on the edge. Why not? Oh, I love this. Loving it so far. Okay, so there. That's it. That's simple. We have our whole distressed look now on here. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine too. But I think that looks really cool. I did the same thing on this one. I did the edges and then just went around the inside of this. And you can do your backs too if you want to. I didn't do them on these, but by all means, you know, go ahead. You could even just use the distressing ink back there if you wanted to. All right, so now we got to get Mom on here. So we're going to take our letters here and figure out, I want them right down here towards the bottom. I'm going to try to set these out so I think that looks good right there. Because I want that whole pretty flowers to show. My glue gun hot enough? Yeah, we are. You don't need a lot of glue on these at all. So get that M down there. Easy peasy. You guys know I love easy projects, and this is so simple. I mean, this, you want to do this last minute. I'll get those glue webs out after with my heat gun. This is like a last minute gift idea, you know. This will take you like no time at all. Oh, my birds are yelling. They're still out here working on these roads, driving me out of my mind. Are we right there? That look about right. I don't measure, I just, well, ignore the glue webs. We're going to zap them out of there with my heat gun here in a second, once I get this all said and done. All right, so I'm going to stick my little picture in here. That was this one. I don't have any pictures right here, right now, what I want to put in here, but just for time's sake here, we're just going to stick these back in here, just so you can kind of get a finished look here. And then we're going to take the little dowel, and you could use wood glue. I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue here just to do it quickly. It really doesn't matter whichever way you want to do it. All right, we're going to let that cool before we stand her up. Let's grab this one, do the same thing, get a picture in here. Some of these I had to bend back a little bit while I was sanding because they were in my way. You hear them noisy people outside my window? I don't know if you can or not. All right, here's my other dowel. Put a little hot glue on there. And in we go. But Dollar Tree has that, this stuff, the super glue, wood glue that you could also use to put those back on. But these things are so lightweight. I think hot glue will be fine to hold these, but you know, whatever you prefer. All right, so this one should be cooled down. Look how pretty. I love this. So yeah, so there is Mom one. And are you cooled enough I can set you up? I'll take pictures of these at the end without all the hoopla going on here in the background. And then here is our, just our pretty heart that you could use for anything. This would make great for birthday, anniversary, really a pretty anniversary, I would think, photo in here. Or even wedding would be pretty too. But you could do so much with these cute little frames. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed these little projects, and I will see you all next time. Have a great day, everyone.